Okay, so you've poured your heart and soul into creating this amazing boutique hotel, right? The design is incredible, the service is top notch, and your reviews are just glowing. But then you look at the numbers, and they just don't add up. They don't reflect the quality of the experience you're providing. If that sounds familiar, well, you're definitely in the right place. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how to close that gap and finally unlock your hotel's true financial potential. And this is the core frustration, isn't it? It drives so many independent hotel owners crazy. You know you have a better product, something guests genuinely fall in love with, but the profitability, it just feels weak. You know deep down it's worth more, but you're just not sure how to get the market to see that and to pay for that value. So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll talk about the value gap that so many great hotels fall into. Then, we'll uncover the hidden and honestly pretty scary costs of constant discounting. After that, we'll shift our whole mindset to selling value, not price. Then, I'll give you the proactive pricing playbook. And finally, we'll zero in on the real goal, getting better, more profitable bookings.
All right, let's start by really pinpointing where things are going sideways. It's a concept we can call the value gap. This is really the heart of the issue. Independent hotels, they offer that personality, that warmth, that connection to the local vibe that the big chains just can't copy. Guests remember these stays. The value is absolutely there, but way too often, it's just not reflected in the price tag.
Now look at this, because this visualizes the disconnect perfectly. On one hand, you're putting all this money and effort into the guest experience, upgrading rooms, training your amazing staff, perfecting every little detail. But on the other hand, your pricing strategy is totally reactive. A competitor drops their rates, you immediately match them. Bookings feel a little slow for a Tuesday, boom, you launch a discount. This creates this huge gap between your product's actual quality and your hotel's financial performance. And that reactive approach, especially that reliance on discounts, it comes with a really serious long-term cost. I know it can feel like a quick fix, but what it really does is start a nasty downward spiral. And this just lays out that cycle perfectly. It all starts with that feeling of panic, right? Bookings look a little slow. So the knee-jerk reaction is to cut the price. And sure, it fills some rooms, but with who? With price-sensitive guests who aren't loyal to your brand, they're loyal to the deal. So over time, people start to see your unique, special hotel as a cheap option, not a high value one. And once that happens, man, trying to get your rates back up to what they're truly worth becomes almost impossible. So the damage this does to your business is very, very real. I mean, your average daily rate, your ADR, it takes a massive hit. You start attracting guests who just want the cheapest bed, not the best experience. You become more and more dependent on those high-commission online travel agencies, which just eats away at your profits. And probably the worst part, you are literally training your customers to wait for a discount before they even think about booking with you. Okay, so how do we break this cycle? It takes a pretty fundamental shift in how you think. We have to stop just selling rooms and start selling the entire experience. It's all about focusing on value, not just the price. It is a huge mistake to think that every traveler just wants the cheapest option. That's just not true. In reality, guests are looking at the whole package. They're reading every review, they're scrolling through all the photos, they want to feel that vibe, that atmosphere. And trust me, they are absolutely willing to pay more for cleanliness, for charm, for great service, and for trust in your brand. Your hotel's quality gives you pricing power that you're probably underestimating. Okay, so let's get into the solution. We need to replace that panicky, emotional decision-making with a proactive strategy that's all about the data. This is your playbook for much smarter pricing. So the heart of this whole strategy is something called dynamic pricing. And listen, it's not nearly as complicated as it sounds. All it means is using real data to make your pricing decisions. You adjust your rates based on what's actually happening. Is demand for certain dates strong? How fast are your rooms selling? How many do you have left? It's about being strategic, not just reacting to fear. So here are the key actions you need to take. First, you got to analyze your booking pace. Are rooms selling faster or slower than normal for a date in the future? Second, you have to look at your booking channels based on their net revenue, after you've paid out all those commissions. It's also critical to protect your rate parity, making sure your price is the same everywhere. And maybe most importantly, you have to find the confidence to hold your rates when you see demand is strong, instead of just caving and selling out too cheap, too early.
And all of this brings us to the ultimate goal of the entire strategy. It is not about being 100% full every single night. It is about maximizing your profit. And this chart, this says it all. Just look at these two scenarios. In scenario A, you go for full occupancy. You sell all 100 rooms at a discounted rate of $100 for a total of $10,000. Okay, but in scenario B, you sell fewer rooms, only 85, but you sell them at a higher, more appropriate rate of $130. Your total revenue is over $11,000. You literally made more money with less occupancy, less wear and tear, and almost certainly a better type of guest.
This right here is the key takeaway. A full hotel does not always mean a profitable hotel. A proactive pricing strategy lets you focus on attracting higher quality bookings from guests who actually see the value you offer and are happy to pay for it.
And the results when you make this shift? They're huge. Your average daily rate and your RevPAR, that's your revenue per available room, the key metric for profitability, they're both going to improve. You'll attract guests who value the experience, not just the price tag. You'll probably see an increase in direct bookings, too. And the bottom line is just a healthier, more sustainable business for the long haul. So I really want to leave you with this one thought. The market is often willing to pay a lot more than you assume. The key is to build the right strategy and, frankly, the confidence to price your incredible hotel based on its true value.